Right. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody, and you can hopefully see and hear us okay. We've got some guests on today's hangout that you may recognise, and as usual, I'm not going to go straight in because I don't think you may actually be able to see it just yet. So I'm getting a 0 viewers. But when you can see and hear, please just bring up a question or a smiley so we know that you're there, and then we'll get going. That'll be fantastic. So it's nice today that we can actually really see two members of your group almost live, and we can see that the sun is shining, which is very nice. It's certainly in here. Middle of winter here, very dark. So anyway, I'm still getting a 0 on the viewers, and I'm not seeing any smileys coming through yet.
Yeah, I can't because I haven't opened the other screen.
Yes, Sarah's there. Sarah can see it.
Okay.
Fantastic. Sorry, Oliver, you were saying?
I'm trying to open it in another screen. It's not letting me just yet.
Okay, it would be good if someone could grab some screenshots. So if you can do that, Oya, with the other screen.
Okay.
Or somebody from the class, if they can take a picture so we can see the guests in all their glory. Great. Carol's sending a message. Hello, UK. Right. Fantastic. Okay, so I think people are joining us now. We've got 4 viewers showing, so it's fantastic. We'll get started. Thanks for letting us know that you're there. Right, so this is the last official hangout then for this module, and Olya and I are very pleased to be joined today by Evan. Say hi, Evan.
Hello.
Hi, and also by Ben. So fantastic. That's really good. So thanks to both of you for volunteering, being guinea pigs. And if anyone else wanted to join in, you're now too late. Sorry, but to save it for another time. Okay, so what we wanted to do this morning really is we've just finished marking your topic 4, so we wanted to have a look through that and give you a bit of feedback that you will bring into your topic 5. Also really pleased to see that there's so much tweeting going on, particularly interacting with the UK students. That's really fantastic and really good to see that a number of you have been talking to them and commenting on their blogs, and they've been replying and doing the same for you. So that's exactly what we wanted to happen. It is really just luck that you. I'd love to say that I did it on purpose, but it's really just luck that you're at exactly the same point at the module at the moment, because in the UK it's stretched over 12 weeks, and so they've really been spending this last week, or just more than a week, doing topic 5. So it's just really fortunate that yesterday and today exactly coincided for you. So that's great that you're all doing that. Brilliant. Right, so anyway, let's have a look at the general feedback. I've tweeted a link to it just now, but I've also got, hopefully, the blog post open here. So, okay, you should now be able to see on your screen the post I've just put on the blog called General Feedback on topic 4. And while I'm doing this, I should also say to Ben and Evan that you too can share your screens. If there's something that you want to share from your own computers, you can do exactly what I've just done here. Not right at the moment, while I'm only obviously show one at a time. But when we go back to the main view, if there's anything that you want to show, then you can do that too. Okay, so the general feedback then. Oh, someone's got a load of background noise. If it isn't here. Right. Obviously, a very broad topic. I did ask. I don't know what that noise is in the background.
It sounds like I don't know, telephony or something.
It sounds like a fax machine. Okay, well, I'll just try and talk over it and hopefully it'll go away. So yeah, a very broad topic. we did specifically say to you to choose one particular aspect to share, which is good, so that's great. So yeah, collectively we've got a variety of posts there now about different ethical applications, either looking at the business angle or the educational angle. So that's great. I was really impressed with all the adverts that were shared, and particularly the video ones. And there's some really good examples, and it did occur to me that something like might like to do and create a playlist on YouTube of things like that that the group could draw upon as a resource to use as examples going forwards. It's just a suggestion. Look at that noise. It's horrible. Now it's stopped. Okay, good. The when I speak, it starts doing it, which is a bit weird. I'm just going to go back to the main screen a minute. Right. So you guys hear that noise as well?
Noises.
Can you? Oh yeah, can you hear it?
Look.
It's really quite loud at this end, and I'm having a job to hear you. Hopefully the people watching can hear us okay. But I don't think it made any difference switching screens. I don't know if has anyone got anything else that might be interfering with the sound? Too close.
Sounds like a fan though.
Sorry?
Sounds like coming from a fan.
Stopped again for a minute. Right. I think we just have to ignore it and talk loudly. Okay, so yeah, I was just saying about the general feedback. I did get the impression, and I've said this on your form, some of you, I think, you know it works now, and you're just kind of going through the motions a bit. And so I've tried to encourage you, given that that this is your last opportunity really, with topic 5 finishing today. Tried to encourage you to really try something different and really give it a final push, if you like, rather than just kind of sticking to the same format, doing the same kind of, I'm not saying the same content, but I think some of you have done the same approach all the way through and haven't really taken the opportunity to experiment with anything. So it would be good to see for the final post whether there's a little bit more creativity. And I've made a note where relevant on the individual feedbacks to that effect. We've also highlighted in that general feedback a few posts that we thought were particularly good, one of which was Evan's, pleased to hear. And, oh yeah, you found a few as well, didn't you, that you thought were good. Did you want to say a few words about what you liked about those in particular?
Yeah, so I hope I'm going to pronounce their names right. So Zoe's, Yiming's, and is it Zhuzhen? From the people that I've looked at, theirs were the clearest, and yes, they set out the arguments for businesses having to kind of have guidance policies and kind of to look after their reputation, but they also acknowledged that kind of employees should have rights as well, and they included both sides of the argument, so that was the kind of main, apart from everything else being right as well. So that was kind of the main point. And the posts are structured well, and the arguments are flowing, and also when they're interacting with the blogs of others, they're asking kind of the right questions that are getting the conversation started. So that's kind of the criteria that they did well with. So hopefully it's only going to get better in topic 5.
Great, that's fantastic. And I certainly think it's a good policy to adopt for any of you really, because you're in a kind of unique position because you're studying marketing. So you can look at things from the perspective of a marketer and what it means and what using these tools means in a marketing context. But of course, you're also all consumers as well. So you know the other side of the coin and what it's like to be at the receiving end of some of these messages and communications. So it's always good practice, I think, to in whatever question you're dealing with, think, okay, what does this mean from the business point of view, and what does it mean from the customer point of view as well? So you're very well placed to do that. Okay, great. So I'm not seeing any questions coming up yet, but please feel free to pose your questions for any of us, particularly anything based on what we've just said about the feedback. If there's anything you want us to repeat, then we can do that, because the noise seems to have stopped now, thankfully. So if there's anything you didn't hear, just let us know. Okay, and now might be a good opportunity to bring in our guests. Perhaps I could ask Evan first of all. Evan, is there anything in particular you wanted to say to your colleagues?
Nothing much in particular, but like good job everyone for churning out a good post every day.
Anything you want to share from your brain at all?
Actually, I wanted to share. Actually, I wanted to share an article that I found recently, but the author took it down, so I'm not really sure why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, have a think about that, and we'll just pass over and have a word with Ben. Ben, you're sat there in the sunshine. So, would you like to say a few words to the group?
All I want to say is that I think this is a pretty tedious module, but it's definitely worth all the effort, because every single topic we get to progress and build on the knowledge that we had for the previous topic.
Okay, so you, what in particular do you think you've learned from the module, Ben?
What I've learned from the module is basically how to be creative on the internet, and how to, in other words, sell your own personal brand in a way that you would see appropriate, and in a way that people would want to buy it.
Okay, great. Thank you. I don't know, Evan, is there anything in particular you feel you've really learned from the module?
Okay, personally, I feel that this group collaborative learning thing has really taught me a lot. I didn't know that we can actually learn so much from one another online, besides like through normal discussions. And it's really great to see like a lot of articles and a lot of ideas being thrown around, and all of us taking like actively learning through one another's posts. So I think this is a really good way that we can learn, maybe for other modules also.
Great. Okay, thank you. Brilliant. Right. I'm not seeing any questions yet. Is anybody who's watching? We've apparently got 21 people watching. So, if any of you got any questions you'd like to pose to any of us, please stick them up there. That would be really good. You all seem to be quite quiet at the moment. So I'll give you a minute or two to see if any questions appear. Right, what else did I want to say this morning? Okay, yeah, this is the last official Hangout, and your topic 5 should be finished by the end of today. But then don't forget, you've still got your final piece to do by next Wednesday, I think it is, isn't it? Yes, a week today. So if you did want another Hangout, then please let us know. We could arrange something to speak with you specifically about that, perhaps at the end of this week. But I think we would need to arrange that with your university, because I'm not sure on things like whether you've got the room available and that kind of thing, or what other things might be in your timetable. But do let us know if you wanted to speak again before you hand in your final piece of work. Still not seeing any questions. It's still very quiet on the question front.
So maybe Evan and Ben can answer about do they have anything else now, or are they finished for this semester? How does it work?
Good plan. Evan or Ben, do you know what your timetable is for the rest of the week?
Are you starting a new course straight away, or is there a gap?
I think from what I know, it's a month of vacation, I think.
Okay.
Ah, right, excellent. Okay. Fantastic. So it might be well, I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but anyway, no one's actually said whether they want to hang out yet anyway, so it might not be. You might never want to go through the dreadful pain again of watching us wander on. So we'll worry about it if it happens. If anyone wants to request to hang out, we will organise something. And no one's actually done so yet, so I'm not going to panic just yet. Okay, I'm still not seeing any questions. This is very worrying, guys. Look, you've got your colleagues have joined us very bravely here on screen. So it'd be really good if you could ask them a question. And it would be really good if you could just confirm to us that you're still there. You're having holidays. Ah, great. Fantastic. Right, now I've got two questions at once, just like buses. Okay, so right, you've got holidays, so that's fantastic. Okay, and we have a question from Sarah, Evan and Ben. I don't know if you can see the question. Sarah says, what's your greatest challenge for this module and how did you overcome it? One of you. Ben, I think you've been nominated to go first.
I would say that the biggest challenge for this module would be trying to relate every single topic's concepts together, and for every single one of my blog posts and my answer to each question, I try to do just that. Although sometimes it might be just quite difficult to do that.
Okay, so yeah, we do cover quite a lot of ground, don't we? There's a huge amount there, and the more you dig into it, the more there is you realise there is there. So okay, thank you. What about Evan? What's your thoughts on that question?
Okay, my greatest challenge I feel would be the amount of time that we have to consolidate all the ideas that we have, and also the word count, like making sure that we have enough content and not exceed the word count by too much. I think that's the greatest challenge because the topic is like sometimes really broad, but it's good that we can comment on our friends' work so we can add on to our knowledge also. Yeah, but I feel that basically it's actually the word count that's actually limiting us, and also the time a little bit.
Okay, so yeah, so you think you haven't really got much time. We go through very quickly, and like I said, it's quite different for the other group here in the UK. They spread the module over a whole term, but then they do other subjects at the same time, whereas you do them one at a time. So I guess it should average out, but maybe you feel that you need more time to sort of reflect and think about things topic by topic.
Yeah,
Okay.
I actually would like to add something to what Evan had just said about the word count.
Uh-huh.
Because I think many times in this module, I think a lot of people would love to write more, would like to include more ideas into their blog posts. Because whenever I see the feedback that's on Google Docs, why is it that you should, you could have talked about this, you could have talked about that. You know, I actually thought about talking about that. It's just that you just can't write that much. It's like a cap on your ideas. It sort of restricts our creativity. So I actually think that if the word count can be increased, it would be great.
Okay, that's interesting. Then you have even more work to do then. I think if you add up the total number of words you've done for each topic over the 2 weeks, it's probably already quite a bit more than you do on one of your other modules. I'm just trying to do the maths in my head very badly. Perhaps only you could do it when I'm talking.
So you probably have 1,000 words per topic, so that's 5 topics, and then another 500. That's 5,500.
I was actually thinking that to have a minimum word count of probably 400 would be ideal, but to put a cap to say that there should be a maximum, I don't think I think I think there should be a minimum word count, but in terms of a maximum word count, it would be
But then,
it might
what
sort of restrict.
that's a fair point. But one thing that we've found is that people tend to kind of if you give if you allow a lot of words, people tend to not keep it as focused. So the point with having a low word count is that you kind of start writing really concisely, and you start condensing your ideas. Also, in general, I think in blogging, yes, you can find blog posts that have maybe 2,000 or 3,000 words, but in general, when people are reading blogs, they don't necessarily want to spend half an hour reading it. So I think this is partly what we had in mind. But maybe we should have said in the beginning that you shouldn't just be restricted. You weren't restricted to only posting the like the four things. So the answer, the two questions, or the two comments, and then the summary. You're perfectly welcome to write separate posts to the ones that we set as coursework, that you could explore additional points. Maybe that wasn't, we didn't make that clear, but you're quite welcome. It's your own blog. You can write anything you like. So maybe that's a way to do it. So, you know, you answer the question that we asked in the number of words that we set, and then if you wanted to explore additional ideas and kind of comments that maybe you got, you write an additional post and kind of include everything that you wanted. But again, that would not be included in the mark, but you could have the opportunity to do everything that you wanted.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I think what we couldn't really be encouraging is for people to sort of just go and do it on the basis of volume, because, you know, as you said, there are so many things you could possibly talk about that if people thought, oh, okay, well, all I need to do is write 20 different blog posts so that I cover everything, or write one really, really long blog post so that I cover everything, then, you know, it just then becomes a volume contest, which really, as Olya said, isn't what blogging is about. And from a marketer's point of view, blogging is really about attracting attention and getting your content read. And as we all know, our attention span these days is getting shorter and shorter, because we're so used to just kind of finding things instantly and moving on. So I think if people get into the habit of writing rather long, rambling posts, then, you know, people will lose interest and not get to the end of them. And that's something that's got even worse since Twitter became popular, really, because forcing your thoughts into 140 characters means that a lot of people now concentrate on Twitter for their information, and they find blog posts, you know, even a short blog post, they find rather too long. So anyway, that's good feedback that we'll certainly bear in mind. And I think, yeah, it's a case of getting the balance, isn't it? You know, you want to have enough space to express your ideas, but not feel as though you've got to be continually writing all the time in order to try and cover everything. And that's one of the the big challenges of the internet is, you know, finding the information is now easy. You know, you just click a button and do a Google search and you get 500 articles. But, you know, actually finding the information is easy. But actually sorting out which bits you want to use, which are the key bits, that's really the critical skill. So, you know, it isn't really a volume game. Anyway, we seem to have got some more questions, which is fantastic. So let's have a look here. So we've done that one, thanks, Sarah. Right, the next one says, this is from Kelly, and she says, can you give us advice on final assignment? Okay. Right, so I did put some information on the blog post I did yesterday after the Hangout, because we did discuss it there. But basically what we're asking you to do in your final post is not to summarise the whole module, but really just to think about what were the key learning points for you personally, and how you're going to take those forward. So that might be to do with keeping your blogs going, it might be to do with building your LinkedIn contacts, it might be with using a particular tool, like Prezi, for example. So whatever you think is going to be useful to you going forwards that you've learned from the module is what we'd like you to reflect on in that final piece. So again, please don't feel as though you've got to cover absolutely everything, but what are really the highlights for you, and what are you going to do about them, most importantly. So don't just say, oh, I enjoyed topic 2, but what exactly in topic 2 did you enjoy? Why did you enjoy it? And what are you going to do about that issue going forward? Okay, that's really what we're looking for. And the other piece of advice is to look back at the audits you did right at the start. Probably seemed a long time ago now, but you did an audit at the beginning, looking at how you currently use the web and what you used it for. So perhaps thinking on what you might have changed from when you did that audit, based on what you've learned during the module. That would be a good bit of reflection to include as well. Okay, so anyway, there's more on that in yesterday's blog post if you check that one out. Right, the next question is addressed to Evan, and it says, this is from Abraham, and it says, among the UK students, which blog did you enjoy reading the most and was able to learn the most from? So that's I don't know if you've had a chance to think about that, Evan.
Okay. I would say that most of the UK blogs, our counterparts in UK, they actually done pretty good job discussing about the various topics. But there's one particular writer, Freya. There's a Freya, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Freya's points were actually, I feel that her blog posts are actually really interesting, where she really most of her ideas and concepts and backed it up with real life examples. So I think her blog's worth checking out if you haven't checked out hers. I mean, there's still many other UK blogs, they're actually pretty good, but Freya's one's pretty interesting for me. Yeah.
Brilliant. Perhaps you could tweet a link to it, Evan. That would be good.
Okay.
And give Freya a bit of feedback and say that you've talked about her blog in this session.
Okay.
Okay, right. I've done that question, thank you. The next one says, are we supposed to keep posting? You're welcome to keep posting, but it's not compulsory. I mean, we're not going to be marking anything else other than your final post and your topic 5. But as we were saying earlier, you are welcome to use them. We would definitely encourage you to use these blogs going forwards. So feel free to post whatever you think is relevant. If you're going to use them for other things which aren't directly connected to your course, then you might want to have a separate category or a separate page or structure the blog slightly differently going forward. But that's entirely up to you. So yeah, feel free if you want to keep posting, that would be great. Okay, and the other question I've got here just says, hi Lisa. Kelly, was there something that you actually wanted to ask us there? Because I'm guessing a bit at the moment.
I think Kelly asked the question earlier about the final.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, so maybe this one's just an error. But if Kelly or anyone else, if you've still got questions, feel free to post them. I've got a blank on the question screen now, so I think we hopefully we've answered the ones that have come through so far. Right. Carol, thank you. That's a long question.
Digital dinosaur.
Well, hopefully Dr. Bev said that he himself was the digital dinosaur, because he most definitely is.
I don't know who Dr. Bev is.
Yeah, I do. I know exactly who Dr. Bev is. Excellent. I will tell him that. He will be thrilled. Thank you for the question. I can't read it all. It seems to have fallen off the bottom. But the module was really an eye-opener for most of us. Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. And perhaps this might be a good point to remind you then that we are going to be doing a separate hangout, not directly connected with the module, but really about the research project, looking at your learning experience generally, which we are looking for volunteers for. So that would mean basically you doing what Evan and Ben are doing now, being part of a hangout. It would be a private hangout. It wouldn't be something that's broadcast to anyone who wanted to watch it. It would just be a group discussion. But we'd really like to get some volunteers for that. So if you've enjoyed the module and you want to share what it was you liked about it as part of a research project, then we'd be delighted to hear from you. And we probably want to be doing that next week sometime. Obviously, when you can fit it in, next week would be ideal. Right. Okay, I think all the questions are now gone again. Okay, so perhaps we'll just give people a minute or two if there are any further questions. But perhaps each of you might like just to say a few closing points just to wrap up, because if there aren't any more questions, we'll close down. But we'll just give people a minute or two. Perhaps Olya could start with you. Anything you wanted to say, given it's the last official hangout?
Yeah, so it was a really different experience doing this over 12 days. We hope that, although it might have been a bit intense, that you managed to learn a lot of things in a short period of time, and we really enjoyed reading all your work. And obviously we hope that the feedback that we've given was helpful, and I think a lot of people really caught up quite quickly, which kind of means that you were kind of already there. It was just the technicalities of how you structure things that really was really what you learned, and really everything else you were already really quite good. So it was a pleasure reading all your work, and hopefully it will you'll find it relevant going forward. But for us, yes, it was a very intense experience, doing everything in such a condensed period of time. So yeah, thank you very much.
Great, thank you. You may have seen some of the comments from Olya have been at very strange hours of the day or night, so she's been putting in some.
I'm also a student, so I tend to do things during the day, and then my quiet time is late at night. So maybe some of you can relate to that. I'm not sure how it works in Singapore. Do a lot of you stay up late?
There's been some tweeting at strange times of the Singapore day, I think, as well. So we're probably all guilty of that to some extent. Okay, perhaps I could pass over to Ben. Is there anything you want to say before we finish, Ben?
I would just actually like to ask on whether you would be actually grading us on our professional digital profile, or would you just be happy to know that we are actually coming to terms with having a profile,
Yeah, no,
will we actually be graded on it?
No, we're not going to directly grade the profile itself. It's much more to do with what you're doing with it, or what you plan to do with it. Because we know everyone's really starting at different stages. Some people may have been using LinkedIn already for some time, for example. For other people, it might be completely new. So I think it would be very unfair for us to say, oh, look, we're going to give a higher mark to this person because he's got 100 followers. So no, we're not looking directly at the profiles themselves. It's much more, we want to know about your plans for them, how you're going to use them, how they're going to be built into your educational and professional development, really. Particularly given you've only had a few days to be working on them. So no, we're not going to directly grade the profiles. Evan, have you got anything you want to say?
I think that maybe we should really set a date for next week's hangout, just in case, like, if we have any questions that we want to ask as a group collab, like together, for our summary post. Maybe it'd be better than us individually tweeting at all the weird timings.
Okay, that's fine. We're happy to do that. I mean, I think what might be useful, Evan, if you could talk to your colleagues and see if could you tell us a time that would be good for everybody. That would be helpful, because particularly bearing in mind the time difference. We need to make sure we agree a time that works for everyone. So if you wouldn't mind asking people and perhaps giving us a bit of feedback and say, the group would like to do it on Friday morning or whatever, then we'll see what we can do. Is that okay? Can I leave that all with you?
Yeah, sure, it's fine.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah.
Right, okay, we seem to have got another question here. A long question. Oh, wow, thank you. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yes, it is quite a lot. I mean, I don't feel that, the UK students, yes, they have 2 weeks, but they're also doing 4 modules at the same time. So, over the term as a whole, it's actually identical timing-wise, because you all do 4 modules. It's just that you guys do yours one at a time over a short period. And in the UK, they do them all together for the whole term. So don't feel as though you'll be given more work. It's just a different way of structuring it. But I mean, one of the things we're really interested in for this research project is working out what actually works best for you, because we can compare the 2 groups now, and we can say to people, how do you feel you would have done better or worse if you had longer or shorter time to do this. That's really useful information for us going forward when we're designing new programs and things. So anyway, thank you for that.
Yeah, I think the point I was trying to make earlier wasn't that it was intense and condensed. I think we're just really impressed with how quickly you picked everything up. Obviously, you're maybe used to working in this format now because this is your 4th course, and the other students get a little bit more time for these ideas to kind of settle, and they have more time to think. So I think the way you've picked up the challenge has been we're really impressed.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'd second that. It's been great, and especially I noticed yesterday when we were marking topic 4, and then your topic 5 posts were already there, and so the temptation is to read it all at once. But keep those because they're not finished those yet. So yeah, you're way ahead of us at some point. Okay, Abraham says everyone is really grateful who woke up, especially early every morning. Yes, it is very early. Okay, thank you for that. But actually, we now have daylight. Look, now you can see out the window. It is now light, so that's a good thing. Okay. Oh, Yvonne says thank you to Yvonne, and another one from Kelly. We can go to the UK for holidays. Yes, I'm sure. Yes, why not? Why not? I don't know if any of you have got plans for that over your holiday. We've got a whole month, but I wouldn't recommend it in December. Really, I would wait till the summer. It'll be much better. Right. So I think we're all out of questions now. So okay, time to wrap up then. So what we've said is that we'll do an extra hangout before you have to hand in your final piece of work, and Evan is going to try and organise a time that would work for you guys, and we'll see if we can fall in with that. And don't forget, we'll get your topic 5 feedback to you by the end of the week. And you won't get you'll get actually your official grades right at the end, because what we have to do is when we've marked the second part next week, we then have to get everything moderated by another member of staff. So and then the marks get released to you. So you won't actually get the final score for a little while, but I think if you look at your feedback sheet, you should get a pretty good idea of where it's going. So I don't think you'll get any nasty surprises there. Okay, so I'm not seeing any more questions, so I think this is probably our opportunity to wave goodbye, and we'll see you all again, by the sounds of it, fairly soon.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks,
Thank
Oya.
you again.
So thank you particularly to our guests this morning, Ben and Evan. It's very good of you to stick yourselves out there on the internet forever like this.
Oh yeah.
You'll very shortly be starring on YouTube because, as you know, these hangouts get saved to YouTube. So that's something to add to your CV. There's a link to that. Right. Okay. So we're going to wave goodbye then, everyone, and we'll talk to you all again soon. Okay.
Thank you,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.